Hello there, people of the internet. YouTube reviewer. This right here is a semi-automatic firearm. I know it's all scary and black now, but it's just semi-automatic, and it does only take a 9-round magazine. So don't go panicking. I've only got 8 rounds in this though, because 1911 capacities, right? Single stack magazine. So I'm out here with this 45 ACP PCC PDW XYZ 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm out here with this 45 ACP PDW. This right here is a bullpup carbine. This is a high tower based off of a high point chassis, or built onto a high point chassis. And I wanted to go ahead and make a video based off of a topic that me and a buddy of mine were discussing not too terribly long ago. And the whole topic of the discussion, thank you, Kevin! I appreciate that, buddy. If you don't know who Kevin is, he's my peacock. I got 4 of them. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. But me and my buddy were discussing, what calibers to stockpile, and we came to the primary conclusion that you should stockpile, like, indefinitely, whatever caliber it is that you're going to use for a situation where things hit the fan, right? So if your go-to is like an AR platform, then stockpile 223. If your go-to is an AK, stockpile 7.62x39. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. And your sidearm, whatever sidearm it is that you decide to use, I don't care if you're using a freaking double-barreled shotgun as a sidearm, or a 500 Smith & Wesson as a sidearm, whatever it is that you decide to use as a sidearm, go ahead and stockpile ammunition for that as well. But me and him were talking, and I came up with the very interesting idea that whatever sidearm it is that you're using, assuming that you're using something in a pistol caliber, like let's say a 9mm, which is it is literally the most popular cartridge in the United States today. Not quite something running around on me. What are you? Go away. Leave it to Florida to have me covered in things that are alive. But ever since the adoption of the M9 Beretta, 9mm has quickly skyrocketed in popularity here in the United States. Used to be the 45, this right here is chambered in 45, but we're going to talk about the 9mm and other cartridges as well, typically pistol caliber cartridges. But a good go-to would be 9mm if you're looking for a sidearm that and you don't have any sentimental attachment. That's what I'm trying to say here. You don't have any sentimental attachment to other calibers, then 9mm will absolutely get the job done. But if you have yourself a 9mm handgun sidearm, I recommend that you get yourself a 9mm PCC as well. If you have a 45, get yourself a 45 PCC. If you have a 40 Smith & Wesson, get yourself a 40 Smith & Wesson PCC. Some sort of carbine style firearm chambered in whatever sidearm caliber it is that you are currently stockpiling. And there's a very simple reason behind that, and the simple reason is price of ammunition. 223, 5.56, and 7.62x39, and typically all of your intermediate caliber rifle rounds, especially your more common ones, are basically always going to be more expensive than your sidearm rounds. 9mm rounds, they are quite a deal less expensive than 223. So if you're rocking an AR and an M9, just as a random example, you could stockpile roughly like 2,000 rounds of ammunition for the 9mm for every 1,000 rounds of 223 for the same amount of money than you could with other calibers. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. Hopefully you get the gist of what I'm trying to say there. You can stockpile more ammo for your PCC / 9mm than you can for your intermediate rifle caliber. Now, the intermediate rifle caliber is very good for taking on two-legged targets, two-legged intruders, two-legged prey, two-legged people that may also have some sort of firearm with an intermediate caliber who would able to shoot back. If they're out at 500 yards, you got yourself an AR with 223, you should be able to make those shots, no problem. But if you have yourself, a 45 ACC or 45 ACP PCC, then making that 500-yard shot is probably going to be a little bit more on the difficult side. But if you have yourself a PCC chambered in whatever your sidearm caliber is that you're going to be stockpiling, and you have, 5,000 rounds of 9mm stockpiled, then hey, guess what? This would make a fantastic survival gun Pistol caliber carbines are able to touch out to, hell, I'd say about 200 yards effectively, and that is well within the realm of what most people typically hunt at. And 9mm, especially with proper shot placement, will be fantastic for taking out small and medium game. I wouldn't recommend going against, you know, really large game with it unless you're rocking like some really spicy 9mm rounds and you're in close quarters. But if you have yourself a PCC and a massive stockpile of ammunition on the side for your sidearm, then you can use that sidearm ammunition to help you sustain your life. Now, you absolutely could go hunting with the intermediate caliber rifle as well, or, you know, you could go hunting with the sidearm as well. But the sidearm is going to have issues with long distances that the PCC would be able to touch out to, and the PCC ammunition is going to be half the cost, and you can stockpile a lot more for the same price as the intermediate cartridge that you would be rocking for your actual go-to firearm. I would not recommend a PCC for an actual go-to firearm unless you're like living in the city and the biggest, you know, distance you're going to be fighting at is 15 yards or something like that in the event that something happens. Like for me out here in the middle of absolutely nowhere with this massive open field in literally every direction around my house, I can see something coming from literally 500 yards away, so a PCC would probably not be a good primary. And an intermediate caliber cartridge would definitely be the way to go at those distances. Hell, I could even settle for a full power rifle round depending on what the issue is that I'm taking care of there. But this right here, with its 45 ACP, I can touch out to 100 yards very, very easily, which is more than adequate for taking out most game. Or I could touch out to 200 yards. I'm fairly certain I could fairly easily with a 45, and I know I can with a 9mm because it doesn't drop nearly as much as a 45 does. 45 tends to drop like a rock. The PCC idea is definitely one that I recommend you get if you're rocking 9mm, but if you have 45, then that will also work. In my particular case, I have a 45 here and a very poor setup for launching lead down range. We're at about 100 yards, and I'm going to see if I can manage to hit my target down there. It's just a steel silhouette. Let's send some lead here. Aha! I hit it. I told you I could hit with 45 ACP at 100 yards. This right here is just a accurate firearm. In general, high point firearms tend to be accurate. Not necessarily the most reliable, but you get what you pay for, and they're definitely the best for the price. Alright, I think I hit the rim on that one, but I'm pretty sure I pulled that. There we go, I hit it that time. The only bad part with any kind of bullpup rifle, although you get a nice compact firearm, you still, well, the way that these mechanically work, you have to have some sort of transfer rod, some sort of transfer system for the trigger in the front of the actual firing mechanism to be able to fire your round, and as a result the triggers on these normally suck. So if you are going to get a PCC for long range shooting, I would absolutely not recommend getting yourself a bullpup. Sorry about that. Had some company stop by. That was a good time. Okay, where was I with this thing? Something about stockpiling ammo for your PCC is a good idea because they're cheap and can be used for gathering whatever game target it is that you're looking to go after. And they're effective out to at least 100 yards. I can confirm that right now. And more than likely going to be effective out past 100 yards. Aha! Smack that fucking target. Smack it like it owes me money. Okay, let's see, what was I going to say about this? There was something else I was going to add on to this, but I can't quite remember, so insert generic gun guy sentence here about this topic. I do wish, well, this bullpup is a pretty crappy design, just with how I have it sitting right here. Not the bullpup design, but this forward front grip right here, just with the location of the cut tree limb that I have here. I really have to have a high point of aim on this thing to make my shots. Well, what I mean is God, I'm tired now. It was good company. What I mean is the gun is sitting exceptionally high, and I'm having to like stand on my toes to aim down my sights from this particular point of aim. I ought to stick myself more points of aim on this tree so I can comfortably set all these different firearms that I use. Okay, well there we go. I have in fact proved that I could hit my target at 100 yards with a PCC. And honestly, 100 yards with any sort of firearm would be an effective hunting round, especially if you can manage to make accurate hits on target. Let me get this thing out of here. Things are just falling apart over here, my goodness. Anyway, folks, let me know what you guys think down below. This is kind of an experimental concept that I came up with not too terribly long ago while I was talking with a buddy of mine. I'm not sure if I said that or not, because I started this video a little while ago. Now I'm ending it a little while later. PCCs, the ammunition you can get for it is going to be a lot cheaper than intermediate or full power rifle rounds, and you should still be able to, especially at distances farther than your sidearm, make accurate hits on target to be able to get whatever game it is that you're wanting to get. Like I said before, you can do it with your intermediate rifle or your full power rifle or whatever it is, whatever kind of rifle it is that you're wanting to use. But it's going to just cost you a lot more money. You're going to have a lot less shots. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather have a PCC with 1,000 rounds of 9mm and make accurate hits on, I don't know, a deer out there at 100 yards than have to have, I don't know, 250 rounds of 30-06, assuming that you're buying the rounds of 30-06 that are about $1 a round, right? I'd rather have more ammunition, more shots, more chances with a less powerful round than have a more powerful round but have less shots. Anyway, folks, like I said, let me know what you guys' thoughts are down below. I'm definitely interested to hear in on that. I don't know why I messed that sentence up so well, but I did successfully mess that sentence up pretty damn well. Let me know what you guys think down below. What do I do for the outro of these videos? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Description down below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that, buddy. I'm gonna go have a tall glass of water, 3 shots of whiskey, and probably a couple pieces of chicken. You guys go have yourself a fantastic day. Yeah, I think I'm done with today. I'll see y'all on the next video. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.